YouTube, Amanda here from Amanda's Cauldron and Crow. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make a fresh elderflower tincture. I went wildcrafting today here in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana, and I got a whole bunch of stuff, including some blue vervain and some feverfew from some vacant lots that are over here by my house. And I also got a bunch of elderberry, or elderflower actually, at this time of year because it is in bloom and it is bountiful here, and how could you not want to use this beautiful herb for medicine and magic? So elderflower, its Latin name is Sambucus nigra, is used medicinally for treating the flu, for alleviating allergies, for boosting your immune system. It's good for all-around respiratory health. It's a great antiviral and antibacterial herb. Magically, the elder tree, where the elderflower comes from, this pretty white flower, was called the witch's tree. It's used magically to relieve heaviness or oppressive feelings, that feeling of stuckness. It can be used for emotional healing or psychic healing, and also before bedtime to encourage psychic or mystic dreams. You can take elderflower all different sorts of ways internally. You can make it into a tea, especially the fresh flowers. You can make a cordial or a wine, which I'm not going to be making today, but might sometime in the future. You can make a tincture out of it. You can use it as a protective sprig, just sort of hanging up in your house, you know, like make a little thing out of it. You can dry it or use it fresh. Just a word of caution that uncooked elderberries, not the flowers, but the berries, uncooked elderberries are toxic. You have to cook them before you eat them. So today we're going to be using the folkloric method of tincture making, which is basically the method that you use when you're not being super exact about your measurements. It's called the folkloric method. What we're going to be using is a 1:2 ratio of fresh herb to menstruum, which is the liquid that you put the tincture in. We're going to be using 75% alcohol as the menstruum to put the fresh herbs in today, and it's going to sit for about 6 weeks in my cabinet, sort of brewing and getting all those good constituents into the menstruum so that I can strain it 6 weeks from now and have a tincture to use actually for the fall when it's going to be cold and flu season. So you need a couple things to make any tincture, and this one in particular. The first thing you need is a scale. I got this scale, I'll put my face right in front of it. I got this scale on eBay for 10 bucks. It's just a postal scale. It's digital. I highly recommend get the $10 cheap postal scale on eBay. I use it all the time for all sorts of things. You're gonna need a jar. I've got a big ass mason jar here because this is what I have. You could use a mayonnaise jar, anything glass that has a sealable lid, preferably something with some sort of rubber lid, but it doesn't have to be a special jar. You are going to need some Everclear. You can do vodka, you can do brandy. I wouldn't do anything else but vodka or brandy, but Everclear is good, strong alcohol, and because it has such a high alcohol content, 190 proof, it's actually kind of a bargain. So this bottle cost me like 15 bucks today. I'm going to dilute it with water to make the tincture, and this bottle will last me a really long time. You are going to need some water, obviously. You need a measuring cup, just a regular old measuring cup, and a spoon, and a label. I already said that. Okay, first things first, we need to prep the elderflower. I got this whole bowl of elderflower today, actually next to a graveyard here with an abandoned lot, and not intentionally. I did ask the tree if it was okay if I could take it. I did leave an offering of a couple coins when I was done as a thank you. And so I got all this elderflower, and believe you me, there's more elderflower than anybody could ever want in that lot right now, so I didn't wildcraft it to death or anything. It's been sitting around for a couple hours because I wanted to make sure any buggies sort of crawled out of it. I could shake them out because I don't want a bug tincture, I want a flower tincture. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to pause the video while I do this, is just take all the leaves off, or the flowers off, and empty them into the bowl. We don't really need the stems or want the stems. We have plenty of herbs. So I'm just going to take and strip off the flowers and put them in the bowl. So here's what we've got. I'm not going to use that to make the tincture because I'm going to put that in my dehydrator tomorrow to dry out to keep for mojo bags or spell work if I want to use it. So I don't want to put everything that I have in the tincture. This is what's left. So what am I going to do with that? I don't know. Actually, I do know. So I'm going to go outside and put it in my fairy garden. It is the witch's tree. Those are witch's flowers. I think my fairies might like it. It'll just compost and go back into the earth. And then these are the flowers that I'm left with to make the tinctures. Notice that I didn't do it like crazy perfect. I still got some stems in there and stuff. That's not going to hurt it. But it's mostly flowers at this point. Okay, so step 1 is turn your scale on and grab your jar. Whoops, super loud. Okay, and after you grab your jar, you need to zero out or tear your scale again. Oh, no, don't turn it off. You just need to zero it out. Okay, so the jar is on there, but I zeroed it out so it weighs 0, and I'm going to put this flour in the jar because we got to weigh and see how much flour is. I'd really like actually just to use 1 ounce. That's 1.5 ounces. Okay, let's see. Maybe we can do 2 ounces. Let me get 2 ounces of flours. This is a big mason jar, you guys. Oh, please let this be 2 ounces. 1.9. Okay. Close enough. We'll call that 2. Let me see if I can get any of these other little guys out of here. 1.9. That's not okay. We'll call it 2. Okay. So we got 2 ounces of herb in here. Alright, so like I told you, I've got 2 ounces of herb, so that means I'm going to use a 1-to-2 ratio or 4 ounces of liquid. And that liquid is going to be Everclear. So you want to go ahead and write that down because you're going to forget. We had 2, I'm writing it down right here, 2 ounces of flour. So we're going to do 4 ounces of alcohol. I've decided to do 75% alcohol, mostly because there isn't really a recommendation that I can find about what percentage of alcohol we should be using. And so I'm just using 75% to be safe. You could use 50% alcohol. That probably would be just fine. Because this isn't, you know, it's a flower. It's not a deep, sappy, thick sort of leaf thing. A note on where I find all this information. My main resource is Michael Moore's Materia Medica. It's online. He was an herbalist. He's gone from this planet now, but he left behind his notes so that we could use them to make medicine. So I'll put the link to that down underneath in the description in case you want some more information about exactly how to use herbs and which ones you should be using. Okay, so it is now time to measure the alcohol. We need 4 ounces of liquid, but I want 75% alcohol, so 75% of 4 is 3 ounces of alcohol and 1 ounce of water. So I'm going to bust out my Everclear. And I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. And this is why this is the folkloric method, because there's no line for 3, so I'm just guessing halfway between 2 and 4. Okay. And now I'm going to put some water. Go to the sink to get some water because I forgot to get some before. So you can see now, if you look real close, you can't because I'm tilting it, but if you read the meniscus on that, remember from high school chemistry, we got 4 ounces of liquid, 3 ounces of that is Everclear, 1 ounce of that is water, and it's filtered water. you know, use distilled water if you can. Okay, you ready? Here's how the magic happens. Just take your herbs and pour the liquid in. Okay, that didn't look like very much. So, it's also important, since we're using flowers, that all of the herbal matter is in that menstruum, or else those flowers are going to turn brown and gross. Notice you don't have to use this huge giant jar. This is just the jar that I had. So, not everything's wet in here, and I do need everything to be wet. Okay? So, I'm just going to take this Everclear and fill the rest of that up. Okay, till it's in there. Okay, so obviously I just took and poured a ton of Everclear in here. That's going to change the ratio of alcohol. It's okay for there to be more alcohol in here. The only downside of there being more alcohol in here is that it's not going to taste very good. I mean, if you've ever had Everclear, it's disgusting. So, this is a medicine. It's not for drinking. It's a tincture. You're going to take it drop by drop. So you don't have to love the taste of it. However, let's say you wanted to make this as a medicine for kids. You wanted to give them a couple drops. You can mix it in like water with honey and put a little lemon in it if you want. There are ways to make this taste good, okay? I don't have kids, so this is just medicine for me. So, there we go. Folkloric method of making. Just fill it up till it covers, okay? I had the measuring cup out there, and I was being really cool, and it didn't work. So, make sure all the flowers are covered. They're not totally covered there. I think I should put some water in it. There we go. I went to go put some water in it. So we got our flowers are not floating, but they're covered. You can see everything's covered. Okay, so this isn't like, you don't have to mix it up or mash it up or anything. You just need to make sure that everything's in there. And you put the lid on, and you're done. So you're done now, except you have to label this. Okay, so how long does this take to sort of cook? Okay, it's not really cooking, but how long does it take to get all the constituents out of the plants? I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks. I just prefer 6. Nothing is going to hurt it. You can keep this 3 to 5 years when you're done. So in about 6 weeks, I'm going to take this, I'm going to strain it, and I'm going to strain it real good. I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to really, really squeeze, probably use a muslin cloth to really squeeze the flowers to get all the good stuff out of those flowers. And then I will put this in one of those little brown bottles with a dropper. And I'll show you guys in 6 weeks what I'm going to do with this. Or actually, this one's St. John's wort, and this one's about getting ready to come up. So this is what this one looks in about 5 weeks. This is like nice and deep and dark and brown, and you can see all the good guts that are going in there. So I'll show you guys how I strain this one. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to make a label. On the label, you want the following things, okay? You want the name of what it is, the common name. So this is elderflower. You want the Latin name. So the Latin name of elderflower is Sambucus nigra. And you want the Latin name because if you die or something happens to you in 6 weeks, or somebody comes along, or I don't know, you just really need to talk to somebody from another country about what you're doing, you want that Latin name because that common name isn't really all that common. Alright, then next on the label we're going to put what the ratio we used was. So we use the folkloric method. So the ratio was 1 to 2. Then I put more alcohol in, and I add another little splash of water. So we're going to say 1 to 2 because it's probably 1 to 2. And I use 75% alcohol. So I'm going to do 1 to 2, 75%. But after that, because, and I'm going to write fresh on there because those were fresh elderflowers, not dried. I am also going to write folkloric on the tag, so I know that this isn't exact medicine. And then I'm just going to put the date of maceration, which is the date that we made it. So I'm going to put an M for maceration, and today's 6/6/15. So here's my label. I don't know if you guys can see that. It looks like it's backwards on the screen. But look, I got Elderflower, Sambucus nigra, 1 to 2, 75% fresh, the folkloric method, and my date of maceration was 6/6/15. I got these labels at Michael's. They were really cheap. I got them on clearance, okay? In case anybody asks. So I'm going to stick this right here. So my tincture is made. It is bacon, getting all the good stuff in there. I'm going to put it in my cabinet along with my other herbs. You don't want it in direct sunlight, but it doesn't have to be hiding or anything. Leave it for 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, you strain it. You put it in your amber-colored bottle or your green bottle or your blue bottle with a dropper. That'll last you 3 to 5 years. Okay, it could last you forever, right, as long as you take care of it, but 3 to 5 years is sort of like the safe bet. This is going to make a ton of medicine, enough for me and my partner for this next fall, probably for another year after that. So if you have a family, you want to use it for your kids, get lots of flowers. But elderflowers are plenty. They're wild. They grow like weeds around here. So that's it, guys. Elderflower tincture. Thanks for watching my video. It's my first YouTube video. I'll do an introduction a little while later, but thanks for watching. Merry me, guys. Merry part, I guess, and blessed be.